Hello everyone. I am making myself a big fall table runner with this block. This runner that I'm going to make is going to use 4 big blocks, and I'll kind of show you how it works. This uses partial seams. These finished blocks are about 14 inches square. Nice and big. I'll have to tidy it up a little bit before I sew them together. So I've got the other ones ready to go to sew. And I will show you how to do it. It looks a bit complicated, but it's easier than you think. Stick around. The first part that I sew together is this one onto there. But you can only sew it partially, and that's why they're called partial seams. It doesn't particularly matter which rectangle you start with first. This one happens to be the one that wasn't sitting on the bottom over on my design wall. So all you do is flip it over and sew it partially. Now, I cannot give you the sizes of these. This is not my pattern. But it doesn't matter how size you are. The method is basically similar. So just line yourself up. Sorry, I can't even talk today, guys. Apologies for that. Okay. Make a mark. You can use a light pencil or something about halfway. This is a friction pen. Sorry, that was upside down. These disappear with heat. As soon as I press it open, it'll go away. Okay, and then I'm going to take it to my machine and I'm going to sew it from the corner down to the middle. There's the partial seam. There, I've stitched from the edge out to my mark. It's hard to see because I'm using beige because I don't want this to show. I should probably use red or something, but again, this is my project and I don't want it to show, so I'm not going to use red just to show you guys. Set your seam. Relaxes the threads a little bit. Peel it back. Don't have that flapping around too much. And just press the bit you just did. Like so. And then we go on to the next one. There. That bottom bit's back in place. Now, I have a perfectly normal seam on that side of there, alongside of the sunflower fabric. So this gets flipped onto there and sewn perfectly normal seam down like so. I've come back to my cutting mat to show you a bit better, more close up. So you have this kind of flapping around. Just ignore that. This and this is perfectly fine. Take your sunflower fabric, flip it over on here, line it all up so that it's nice. I cut these pretty accurately, but you can always trim a little bit if it's not quite perfect before you sew them together. There we go, that's better. Okay, a couple pins so we don't wobble about. Whoops. The black fabric is quite firm with all the glitter on it, and it's harder to get the pins through. There we go. And one there. And I'm going to go sew this and we'll come back. This is the pattern I'm using. I bought it as a relatively inexpensive PDF download from the Fabric Patch. They're in Washington State. And this is for an entire quilt with fussy cut middles. But when I watched the video on YouTube, I figured that this would be a good method to make 4 for a table runner. I bought the next rectangle over from the design wall so you could see it. So this one goes on top. Again, perfectly good seam. Line that up. pin it and sew it. The last rectangle is all these dark brown leaves and pine cones and little berries, and it goes right here. Again, same thing, pin together and sew. Okay, all the rectangles are on now, except this one's not done yet. So how do we finish it? Flip it over. You're sewn about to here. So the easiest way to do it is pick it up. Line up your corners. Make sure it's all straight and even. Go back and start sewing where you finished, and sew down to the end like normal. It's usually a good idea to press your blocks when they're done. Because this one's big and kind of seams here and there, I'm going to press it from the back, and it's a good thing because this one's gone wrong. So you just want to make sure everything's going the same way. And it's flat. I probably could have cut that thread off, but that's okay. Give it a shot of steam even if necessary right there, just to make sure that stays down. And that one stays flat there. There we go. Don't move it right away until it cools down a little bit. I have got my blocks turned 1/4 each time. You could easily have them oriented where they're all exactly the same, and that would be totally fine too. You're a runner, your choice. I have the runner basted down with pins, although I did use some 504 basting spray. It's a big shaky spray anyway, just to stick the top part down to the batting, and I've got it pinned just to hold it. It's a little bit on the wonky side, so you can see it's ripply there. So as I go, I'll just unpin it and straighten it out. I'm going to start by doing stitch in the ditch, just along in the seam there, all the way around the 2 black squares that are in the middle. And then I'll unpin it and smooth it down, because you don't want to get wrinkles on the back of your fabric, because it'll look dumb. That's the pretty backing fabric. I'm probably going to just quilt it with orange. It's not a super bright Halloween-y orange, it's a bit darker. And I think it will look fine on here, and with all the colors on the top. So that's what I have to do next. Okay, I did all the quilting. I just put lines through it. It's for me, it doesn't have to be fancy. I used orange. It kind of goes, and I also did a top stitch just to secure the edges all the way around. Sorry, I bumped the camera. That's it. I got the runner finished up today. It's the 9th of November. We're having some company for dinner on Remembrance Day, on Thursday. So I think I'll put this on the table. That's why I got it finished up. This binding fabric goes with the fabric line, so it matches all the colors nicely. That's the pretty fabric on the back. Either side would actually look really good sitting on my big dining room table when we have both the leaves in. Thank you kindly for watching.